Hello. Hi, everyone. Happy almost New Year's to all of you. And Inner you, I have to just say, you are doing awesome over there on the whole moderating. You do like above and beyond. It's like great. You're a natural for this whole thing. So thank you. Anyway, welcome to Stella and James, and of course, Inner you, and Philomena, and Dennis. Dennis, I expect you know that the Packers won the first Super Bowl ever. So I'm sure you know that as a loyal Packers fan. Anyway, Donna, welcome in. Kai from Valencia, Spain. Donna, let's see. Cindy from Maine. Lisa and Maria. Bronwyn, where it's very hot in Australia's summer right now. I hope do you have any air conditioning, Bronwyn? Anyway, Lori, welcome in. Liddell, hi from Texas. And Jim from Canada. I think I touched on everybody. Stella, I'm going to get back to your comment. You made the first comment. I'm going to come back to that in a little bit because I am going to talk about that. But Marie, welcome from Stockholm. Tia from Texas. Oh, thanks, Blue Sky. Carol, Lori. Oh, Guten Abend from Frankfurt. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I want to say, James, if you're still here, welcome in. I hope you're doing well. James is our nonagenarian on the channel. He's in his 90s. So he's probably my oldest viewer, and I really appreciate him. Oh, Ty Cobb, welcome in from Annapolis. Connie from Florida. Leanne, hello from Germany. And Kathy from the desert. Jean. Linda from Missouri. Hello, all. Yeah. And Sandy from Niagara Falls. Gail as well. Wow. Everybody's just joining in. That's great. Welcome all to all of you. I'm going to have a sip of water here very early. Just water today. I didn't feel like a hot drink, and I have no green tea. So, yes, happy Saturday, Bear Paws. Indeed. I don't think I said happy Saturday yet. It's kind of, I don't know about you guys, but this period between Christmas and New Year's has always been weird to me. Like, even when it's not like a big Christmas or anything, I inevitably get like a little letdown afterwards. Of course, part of that is I'm really down on my chocolate. Speaking of which, Stella said she had some dark chocolate. I have almost no chocolate on hand, so I'm already suffering a little bit from that, but I need to, because first of the year I've really got to get off it for until I leave. Actually, I really want to take that almost 2 months and just get off the chocolate. Christine, welcome from North Carolina. Anyway, yeah, it's a confusing time, Jim. Indeed. I don't know. It's like, I remember when I was young, I really would get depressed, because you got the big buildup for Christmas, and there was always presents and, a lot more to do than I have now in my life. But I would always get depressed for a couple of days after Christmas, at least. And then I've always enjoyed New Year's because I've never been a partier. Like, even when I was young, I've maybe been to 3 fancy New Year's parties in my whole life. Like, it's just not a thing for me. And I love New Year's Day because I kind of use that day as a day of contemplation, meditation, plans, just self-care, I guess, So yeah. Anyway, I've always enjoyed New Year's Day, so I do perk up. Oh, hi, James. There you are. I love a little heart. No, Kay Green, you mean about my visa, like my appeal? No, I probably won't hear at the earliest till the end of January, maybe. So anyway. Yeah, I know. enter you. I hear you on that. Hi, Diana Victoria. Welcome in from Denver. MSR. Oh, I think I'm reading one of your comments today. Is that the second one I've read of yours, MSR? Honestly, it's not favoritism, people. I can't help it that MSR just does a really good comment. So you have to fire back at a moron who reads at third grade level. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. So anyway, yeah. So I don't know how all you are feeling. Are you feeling happy today or a little let down, like the post-Christmas letdown? Let me know in the comments over there, the chat. Like I said, New Year's Day and New Year's Eve, actually, to me, I perk up by then, but it always kind of seems like no man's land in between Christmas and New Year's to me. So I am going to go out for a walk. The sun is now out, which is good. It's not super cold here, and I am for a walk and down to Starbucks with a friend this afternoon. So, which is kind of my Saturday ritual right now. But your first comment today, MSR. Okay, so Jim says a little tired, confused, and don't know what day of the week it is. Yeah, I know. Carol, I'm sorry. Christmas wasn't very good. I'm sorry about that. I have very low expectations at Christmas from, pretty much. Like, I was so happy this year because, you guys saw my lasagna. I was making my lasagna. The lasagna was delicious. I've got like 6 pieces in the freezer right now. And for the next 6 weeks, I get to have 1 piece a week. So that's a treat, like 1 day a week. But it was very good. And I was just happy because last Christmas I was sick, like intestinal something I had for like 3.5 weeks that I just was eating very little and just not feeling well and never figured out really what it was. It just went away. And then the year before I had this tooth issue. I had to have a tooth extracted and I was all worried because I wasn't even sure I was going to be able to afford to do that because I had to pay for it. So yeah, it was a much better Christmas for me. It's if you put it in perspective. Yeah. Let's see. Not my Stella says not much of a Christmas person on there. Looking forward to New Year. Kana, I think I'm saying that right. Kana, sort of down only because the winter's going to start winding down. Oh, okay. Yeah, you got to do those memory exercises. I do a lot of puzzles, like brain puzzles. I do Sudoku on my phone. And I find Sudoku is really a really good brain exercise for you. I know meatballs are all gone, Karen. They're all gone. There were extra meatballs beyond what I mashed up to put in the lasagna, but they're now gone. Between my friends and me, they're gone. The meat. Gosh, I don't know if I told you guys, but when I was making, I guess I didn't. But when I bought the meat for that, the ground beef, it was $25 for just the amount I bought, which was, I don't even know if it was 2 pounds. And it was so expensive. So anyway, I like the bows, James. Yeah, I know, Jean-Marc. Well, hey, someday if I get to live in Europe, I may not have to worry about that again. But yeah, the healthcare costs. Yeah, I go for a walk almost every day. I usually miss 1 day a week. Oh, you do Scrabble online, Bronwyn, and jigsaw puzzles. Okay, good. People are sharing what they do for. I'm laughing because I was thinking you guys are talking about the healthcare. It was funny. I'm not going into the political aspects of this, but it was funny because I don't know who it was in the Danish government in the last week offered to buy the US and give all its people health care. and I was like, okay. um, that's good. Anyway. Yeah, I know, Ruby. Hey, did tell me about it. And yeah. Hello, A. Ronnie Hubbard. Hello. Yeah. Well, no, they were extra meatballs, Jean Marc. But the thing is, they were extra meatballs that we had like meatball sandwiches for a couple of days before Christmas. But the thing is, it's still, I mean, $25. I remember that when that would cost 10 or $12, like at least half what it does now. So anyway, yeah, it's very expensive. And that's not even the good. I get the 80% lean ground beef for meatballs because you don't want it too lean or it doesn't taste good. You have to have fat in your meatballs. You do. So I don't even get the higher lean content and it was still $25. So yeah, Jean-Marc, I know you said that they do that in France. I can't do the potatoes in the lasagna. I just can't. I can't go that far. That's a bridge too far for me. Okay. All right. Well, let's do our comment of the week from MSR since MSR is still here. Okay. So I know, like I said, I know I've done at least one other MSR comment of the week, but this was good. It was in reference to the video where I talked about I was making lasagna and I talked about, not having regrets and if you can do what you want to do when you can do it, like financially, physically, so that you don't wait too long in your life and then maybe you'll never, I did get several comments from people who said that they tried to do something at some point in their life and then something happened and they couldn't do it and then life happened and they had illnesses or obligations or something like that and then and that was over. So anyway, MSR says, I'm so glad to hear you mention you have regrets because we all do. It's impossible, I feel, to traverse life with all the variables we inevitably must encounter along the way, which are beyond our control and sometimes seriously limit our options how to respond to them, to avoid lamenting the road not taken. Every stage of life brings unique circumstances with their own set of dynamics to which we must adjust. In the absence of a crystal ball to guide us, mistakes will undoubtedly be made, and that's totally okay too. The goal is to minimize regrets, not attempt to avoid them entirely. That's unrealistic. So good going, MSR. I loved that comment. It's very deep, very deep. So deep thoughts, deep thoughts times 5. I know MSR is very is a poet of some kind. Seriously, absolutely. Oh, Gail, I'm sorry. I hope you sound like you're doing better. So I'm hoping you will go. Where are you going to go in Sicily? I know. What a gift for words. What a gift for words indeed, Bronwyn. Yes, John Mark. See, that's why I'm not really that freaked out about when I'm over there traveling this year is because, or this next year, traveling, because if I just get a minor thing, I'm not, knock on wood, hopefully, knock on wood. But if I just get a minor thing, I know it's not going to break me to go to the urgent care or a normal doctor. It's going to be affordable. So, in this country, you have something bad, and if you're not covered enough with insurance, it destroys you just to go to the ER or to an urgent care or something like that. So, yeah. Anyway. Oh, that's good to know in the UK, John Mark. Oh, MSR says, thanks. It all just came to me and flow. Yeah. Well, you must be a writer. You must be a writer. So I'm really, that's wonderful. I used to write for newspapers. I was a newspaper feature writer back in my 30s. So I know good writing when I see it. I can tell you, and you're a really good writer. Okay, so I wanted to first talk a little bit today about um, oh, great. John Mark's talking about having a heart attack in the street. We don't want that. Okay. Call 999 in the UK. Good to know. What is the emergency number in France? Oh, Esther says, I don't think nowadays people can realistically have a medical emergency fund unless they already have a lot of money, to be honest with you. It's just, it's out of sight. So, okay. So I wanted to talk a little bit about like, because we're heading into the new year. And by the way, I did think about I am going to have a video out on Tuesday. And I'm not going to do a live stream on New Year's Day. I'm just going to do one next Saturday. And that'll kind of be our New Year's live stream because that'll just be 4 days in on the 4th. Because I just I got to really spend the day just really being in the Zen state, let's say. And it's although I love doing this on here, it's not exactly Zen. It's it involves a lot more energy than I want to expel on New Year's. I want to just be really Zen. Oh, okay. People are sharing it's 112 in France. That's a random number to me. I understand the 999, but the 112? Okay. Thank you. Oh, actually, before I get into any other topic on this, let me address what Stella asked at the very beginning, because, I've gotten a lot of people suggest this on the channel. So some of you may be even wondering why I'm not doing this that are watching the live stream. So let me address something. Stella had sent me an email and she said, why don't you apply for the, it's the visa by descent in Italy. Which you would think I would qualify for. I looked into this 20 years ago, and I don't qualify. And the reason I don't qualify is because my grandparents, both of my grandparents came from Sicily. They came to the United States, and they were obviously not citizens initially. But my grandfather enlisted in World War I when he was in the United States. And what they did in World War I, and I have his document, it's really cool. If you were from an immigrant and you enlisted to be in the army or any military, I guess at that point, you became an automatic American citizen. And so they had a lot of immigrants sign up. Well, the problem in those days is when you signed up to be an American citizen, you basically had to renounce your home citizenship. See, nowadays you don't. Nowadays you can be a dual citizen, but you couldn't be a dual citizen back then. So my grandfather stopped being an Italian citizen in 1918 or 1917, actually. And then my grandmother, she became an American citizen in, I think, about 1924 or 25. I don't have her actual citizen. Actually, I do have her naturalization paper, but I don't remember the date. And my father, which was their only son, was born in 1928. That's the problem for the citizenship. Especially if my grandfather had not been an American citizen before my father was born, then I could claim citizenship. Now, there is another avenue which says it's through your great grandparents, which, of course, obviously, all my great grandparents lived and died in Italy. They didn't even come to the US. But I think that's, first of all, because my grandparents were from they were born in the 1800s. Okay. They don't really count your grandmother anyway, your grandmother. So, which is kind of, I guess you have to have a grandmother born after 1948 for them to count equally both sides. So it's kind of, it's like a double standard. That's what I'm going to call it. Anyway, so the thing is, I do not qualify. Bottom line, I don't qualify. My grandparents are both American citizens before my dad was born. My dad, of course, joined the military then. And of course, he wasn't born in Italy anyway. If he had been born in Italy, then that might have been different, obviously. But then, of course, when you join the military, you swear an oath, and you cannot. In those days, you could not be a dual citizen either. So the thing is, no, I don't. I'm just putting that out there. I know I'll probably have to still explain it a bunch more times to viewers who are trying to be helpful, and I appreciate that. But no, I don't qualify, which really sucks. So anyway. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up on what people have said. Yeah, well, Devon, it was interesting that they had that. Yeah, I don't think they would ever do that again, honestly, because those were simpler times and it was a lot easier to just convey something like that. Nowadays, of course, because people can have dual citizenship from certain countries, it would be a lot more difficult. So, anyway. Yeah, I don't qualify for the Irish one at all. I mean, even though I have Irish ancestry, it's way back. So it doesn't even, yeah, Gail says, handsome Italian. Yeah. Well, don't we all? My dad was a very handsome Italian. Let me tell you, he really was. He was a good looking guy. And, anyway, Jim says, what about a short gray haired Canadian? Free healthcare. You guys are cracking me up. Anyway, let's get back to it's right before New Year's. So I was thinking about gratitude and how it is so important to remember this, especially heading into a new year, of the things we're grateful for. And I'm not going to go down a whole list for myself for you guys. I'll talk about a couple things, but I wanted to encourage you to, if you don't already have this practice, every day either write it down or just say it out loud, but pick 3 things every day you're grateful for. What that does is it builds what I call a gratitude muscle, and you start just naturally being grateful on a daily basis. And so I really encourage you to do that. I think gratitude is huge. Every time I get really stressed out about this big change in my life, I remember what I'm grateful for, and that helps. It helps tremendously. So hopefully, let me know in the chat over there if you already do like a daily kind of gratitude practice of some kind, whether you say it out loud or you write something down before you go to bed or whatever. Just let me know if you do something like that, because I really am a big believer in gratitude, and it really helps get through tough times, because every single person, no matter how difficult their life is, still has something to be grateful for. I mean, okay, maybe 98%. I'm sure I'm thinking of people in the worst circumstances, but remember I've talked about how I love the Man's Search for Meaning book by Viktor Frankl, and how even when he was in a concentration camp, he could focus on the beauty that he saw around him and be grateful for that. So if you can do that in a concentration camp, I'd pretty much say that almost in any circumstances, people have something to be grateful for. So anyway, yeah, listening to music before bed helps. Yeah, Viktor Frankl, absolutely. Again, I'm plugging that book. If you've never read Man's Search for Meaning, it's a really good book to read to remind yourself about, even in the worst circumstance, you can find beauty and you can find something to be grateful for. Yeah, Susan, thank you. That's very nice of you. Yeah, I'm figuring it out. I mean, we had music yesterday in the rec room thing, and I just went over and sang with them. I didn't play yesterday, but I was telling a couple of the guys there what was happening, because they didn't know like my updated plans and stuff. And so, because I hadn't seen them since last month, but I was just telling them, and one of the guys, And we're all around the same age. And but one of the guys said, "Wow," he said, "I just have too many obligations and things to, that are tying me, and I just can't do something like that." He said, "That's so wonderful that you can do that." And it reminded me again that, yeah, right now, in the circumstance I'm in, I can do this. And I'm grateful for that, because a year from now it could look different, or 5 years from now, or who knows. Um, but I do have a good feeling about it. I have a good feeling. And even I actually am been feeling very, oh, James says he's happy because he's alive. We're happy you're alive too, James. You just keep going, buddy. Make it to 100. That would be awesome. Oh, Leanne says she does it in the evening, gratitudes. Yeah, some people prefer in the morning and some people in the evening, but or I just do it whenever. Like when I first started my gratitude practice, I used to write it down before I went to sleep, which really kind of helped me put things in perspective for the day. And but now I just say it out loud just to myself any time of day. Like when I feel like I need it, a reminder of what there is to be grateful for, I just do it. I know Jimmy Carter made it to 100. I know, absolutely. Oh, that's great, Jennifer, saying that in the morning. Yeah, and if you do journal, you incorporate that into your journal. That's really great. Barbara says that she thanks God every day. Oh, I'm so glad you can see again. That's wonderful. Oh, Amanda, well, happy pre-birthday. Amanda's birthday's on January 1st. Oh, it's the big 60. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It might take you a week or two to adjust, but it'll be fine. It will. I hit the 70 like a little over a month ago, let me tell you. Bronwyn says grateful for a full night's sleep. Yeah, I had a good night last night. I'm in this weird, I don't know if you guys remember, but if you've watched my channel for a while, I used to never have sleep problems. And then just within the last couple of years, I started developing weird things where I will sleep well for a couple months, and then for some reason I go through a couple months where I can sleep one night, and then the next night I have trouble either going to sleep or staying asleep. And then it's like an every other night thing. Fortunately, it's not every night that I have trouble. But yeah, and I know that's probably age. I'm not having pain or anything that's keeping me awake. It's just, of course I'm stressed right now. I'm hoping that once I actually get over to Europe, that I will actually start sleeping better, because to me, there will be less to think about on a daily basis as there is right now. Because remember, I told you guys, I'm happiest when I travel. I'm usually less stressed when I'm on the move. It's so counterintuitive, but that's just how I'm built. So yeah. Oh, Gail, you're having the same thing too. Sleep is crazy. Yeah. Actually, CBD does not help me. I have a weird reaction to that, where it actually it doesn't make me hyper, but it won't let me sleep. Like I feel relaxed, but I for some reason can't sleep. And I'm that way. I don't react well to medications in general of any kind. Like I have weird like opposite reactions to things. I remember when I was really young, like in my 20s, I tried taking NyQuil one time. You remember, NyQuil, I guess it's still out. And oh my gosh, it made me so hyper. Like I couldn't function. I certainly couldn't sleep. I can tell you that. So yeah. So no, I have to I do take melatonin once in a while, but that doesn't really always help me sleep. Sometimes it does. It does relax me a bit. But I don't have any side effects with melatonin, so that's good. But anyway. Yes, Anne Maria, that's right. I'm grateful. Every day is a tiny bit longer, a little more daylight. Oh, James, do you do the 1 glass of milk? Everybody, we probably should listen to James because he's made it to his 90s, just saying. So the glass of milk is what helps you? Yeah, probably. I don't normally drink milk at night. So I don't really drink milk that much, but yeah, good tip. Yeah, I think people sometimes have an opposite reaction to cold medicines, and I've never really been good with that. Probably DMH about ASMR. What I do sometimes is the only reason I don't do it regularly is I will meditate myself to sleep some nights, but I don't do it all the time because I don't want to start associating meditation with sleep because I don't go to sleep when I do normal meditation. So I'm a little bit leery of building a pattern there too much. So sometimes I do that and it helps, but yeah. Oh, surely. Oh no, 31 years of insomnia? Yeah, I feel for you on that. Yeah. Okay, A. Ron Hubbard. Magnesium. Yeah, I've never tried magnesium day hiker. They say that helps. Yeah, I'm just bummed because I come from a family of really good sleepers. My mom lived to be 90. She never had problems sleeping, even when she got older. And I just assumed I would be the same way because I was a good sleeper for my whole life till I was what, 68? I was just assuming that I was not going to have a problem. So, yeah, well, so much for that. Oh, Carol, sorry you've had that for 6 years. Oh, I'm going to have serious Ruby. I'm going to have serious jet lag initially. I will adjust. I'll adjust probably within a week. Yeah. Um, Oh, yeah, we're gonna do, the live chat. Ruby's asking a good question about the live chat. Yeah, what will happen is, France is, I believe, 10 hours ahead of me here at 1 o'clock. So, or is it 9 hours? I think it's 9 hours, sorry. When it's 1 o'clock here, I think it's 10 o'clock there in France. So my plan is that I'm gonna the live stream will be a little bit earlier on Saturdays for you guys in the US. I'm gonna do it at like 8 o'clock my time over there in France, 8 p.m. And then that should be about 11 a.m. Pacific time in the US, which would be like 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern time, if that makes any sense to everybody. That's the plan at this point because I don't want to do it too late at night because I'll just get too tired. But I figured 8 o'clock, that's fine. I can do that. So yeah. So once I'm over there, we'll still be doing Saturday live stream, but it will when I do it will change. You guys, it'll be not a huge difference in the time, like couple hours. Okay. Yeah, it's 22:32. That means it's 10:30 right now. Yeah. So you're 9 hours ahead of me right here. So yeah. Yeah. So anyway, and I'll be reminding you guys as we get closer. I know, Dennis, I have read that too, that if you don't fall asleep in 15 minutes, just go do something boring, but it doesn't work for me. My attitude is even when I don't go to sleep right away, or I wake up, I have two normal patterns. I either have trouble going to sleep or I go to sleep for like 3 hours or so, and then I wake up, and then for some reason I can't get back to sleep for 2 to 3 hours. That one I hate more, believe it or not. I actually prefer to at least once I go to sleep, at least sleep for at least 5 hours or 6 hours or something like that. But I just I don't get real frustrated. I don't know how to explain that, but I feel like I'm still getting my body's getting rest just by laying there with my eyes closed and just kind of trying to zone out, I guess, is the way I view it. So I don't, maybe it probably would help to get up and do something and then go back to bed, but I don't do that. But I don't get on my phone or the internet or anything like that in the middle of the night. I do not do that. So yeah. MSR says reading. Yeah, reading actually, I wanted to get into the habit. I'm going to download some things to like a Kindle app for myself overseas because I'll probably have to read on there. Unfortunately, I can't take books with me. It's just too heavy for my luggage. So, anyway, I we'll just see. So, but I would like to be reading more before bed. Yeah, busy bumblebee. I would love to do that, but I'm not a napper. I just can't. The only time I can nap is I have to be sick. If I'm sick, I nap. Otherwise, if I'm not, no, I can't nap. I'm just not a napper. Even as a kid, by the time I was 3 years old, I just couldn't nap. You know how little kids will take naps. Well, I grew out of that really fast and just couldn't do it. Bear paws. Yes, my flight from San Francisco to Paris is a nonstop. It's 10 and a half hours roughly. So I've done a flight like that before overseas from Phoenix to Frankfurt. It was about the same amount of time. So oh yeah, well I'm going to Europe, Shirley. I'm going to France first, but I'm going to be traveling around because I'm not moving there. I'm being a nomad for like 9, 10 months, probably. That's not finalized yet as far as exactly how long. I will get a return ticket. For those of you that were concerned about that, I am getting a return ticket before I leave because you have to show them that you're coming back at some point. So I'll get a return ticket for like November, December, or something like that, and the cheapest one I can find. And I'm not going to get a refundable because they're a lot more expensive. And frankly, if I pay $300, $400 for a one-way ticket and I end up not using it, well, I'll just have to write that loss off because I just don't want to pay a lot more initially to get a ticket, if that makes any sense. So I am busy bumblebee, excited. I've wanted to do this for so long in my life. I mean, this was a dream. I remember back in my 40s, early 40s, like I would clip things out. This was before like massive internet and stuff. I mean, there was internet, but it was real basic. But I would clip out, things out of travel magazines and like pictures of places I wanted to go. And actually, I remember this so clearly that there were these houses for sale in the Dordogne region of France. Dordogne. Anyway, there were these houses for sale, and this was back in the in like 1994. And I remember that they were for sale for like $50,000. And I was like, "Oh, I wish I could go to France and buy a house there and live." Like that was a dream even at like 42. And so this is a big thing today. And are you wearing an invisible suit today? Inner you? Did you ask me a question and I didn't see you? I'm sorry. Let me scroll up. Did you ask a question and I just didn't see it? No, I'm not seeing it. Well, ask me again. I scrolled up a bit. I didn't see anything. No, Anne Marie, I cannot live with my sister. That's a whole other story with my sister. So no, I don't really have that I can stay with. I have a couple of possibilities to get back into housing, one in Oregon and one here where I'm living right now that I possibly will have some income up by the end of the year. So that's possible if I come back and I'm going to stay, but I may not want to stay. I also have thought of, no, Jean-Marc, I know, but I did look it up, and it actually, I looked up the French pronunciation en français, and it was Dordogne. So, maybe people do say it differently that are there, and maybe in other parts of France they say it differently. I don't know. Um, that's right, Jim M. A return ticket is a business expense. That's correct. Actually, I'm going to be consulting with a tax person before I go because I think a lot of this is going to be a business expense. So I have to figure out exactly what I'll be able to deduct or not deduct because since I'm using the travel as content for my channel, it should be a business expense. So we'll see. No, Daphne. I will send him a message before I go to just tell him I'm going to be gone out of the country. I'll send him a text. I don't expect a response, so no. Um, let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought they'd even be more than that, Jean-Marc, the houses there. Yeah. They were really cute little houses. They were like not a tiny house. They were like little like two-bedroom cottages, but they were just in this beautiful place and on nice lots and stuff and more kind of in the country. And I just thought, "Oh, that's just so looks so beautiful." I know. Well, I don't know how much I'll be able to write off, but we're going to try a lot of it. No, I'm gonna consult with a tax person first. Oh wait, message was retracted, interview. What happened there? That was not me. I'm not retracting any mess. I have not been retracting anything. So just so I ask again, interview. Are you having or are you having like technical issues or something? Ochinsky, hi. All right, let me do a little reading here. This is another little inspirational kind of thing from Henry David Thoreau. And it kind of reminds me of what I talked about in the video yesterday. But I used to have this on somebody bought me a gift one time that had this on a plaque or something. And I used to have it on my walls for years. And then I finally got rid of it. But I wrote it down so that I would always remember it. Yes, Stella, I just saw that yesterday or this today, I guess. I saw it this morning. Yeah, I know that was a horrible experience. The channel We in France. Yeah, she's lived there for like over 10 years or something. Yeah. Hi, Jan. Welcome in. Okay, so anyway, this is from Thoreau. You guys have probably heard this before. He says, I learned this at least by my experiment that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. He will put some things behind, will pass an invisible boundary. New, universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within him, or the old laws be expanded and interpreted in his favor in a more liberal sense, and he will live with the license of a higher order of being. In proportion as he simplifies his life, the laws of the universe will appear less complex, and solitude will not be solitude, nor poverty, poverty, nor weakness, weakness. If you have built castles in the air, your work need not be lost. That is where they should be. Now put foundations under them. I've always loved that. I've just always loved that quote from him. So yeah, I think that when you really make any big change, oh, there you are, interview. Oh, thank you for asking people to tap the like button. Yes. And if you have not, well, I know everybody in the chat has subscribed, but people might be watching who have not subscribed. So please subscribe. Um, Yeah, but see, you got to do it in your younger years, MSR. That's good. Yeah. See, if I had been able to travel as much as I wanted, I probably wouldn't be doing it now. honestly. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe I would. Maybe I'm just built for that and that's what I'd always want to do, but yeah, the thing is, if you, again, it's like I said in the video yesterday, if you can do something that you've always wanted to do and you're physically capable and financially capable, then why not do it? Whether it's start a business or travel or build a tiny home or whatever it is that you want to do, um, just do it. Because I've seen too many comments over the last couple of weeks, especially of people that said, they wanted to do something, they waited too long, then they got sick, or somebody in their family got sick, or, and then they couldn't do it, which is understandable. I mean, things happen and then we can't do things. Well, he was, Dennis, he was eccentric, I would say, Thoreau, but I think he was on to something, especially about solitude and about simplicity. Those things in particular, I think, are very valuable if you're a person that is introspective and more of a loner by nature. I think that that's really, valuable. Okay, Jean-Marc. Yeah, it is. I mean, the reason I couldn't do things for many years was not because of physical health, it was because of finances. And part of that was my own fault, of course. And part of it was just that I never, like I said, if I'd started a YouTube channel in 2010, who knows what I, could have done. So, but you can't live in that kind of regret. You have to start when you can start and just do it. Um, oh wow, you got no anyway, yeah, I knew Rick Steves. Yeah, he's fighting cancer right now. So hopefully he'll be able to overcome that. You go, girl. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Barbara Hawkinsmith. Yeah, well, yeah, and go, girl. Well, people think I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. I may be a little unconventional. I may be a little bit thinking outside the box in the way I live my life, but I'm not crazy. And there are people who think I haven't done research either, which really boggles my mind. Like I am I am by nature a researcher. I look things up a lot. And I had somebody that did a comment and said something like, "Well, how could you go over there right now when there's war everywhere?" And I was like, "Is there something I'm missing?" Like, well, yeah, there's war in places in the world, but I'm not going to any of those places right now. Now it could break out while I'm there. I admit that, but yeah, just I'm not willingly going to a war zone is what I'm telling you guys. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's right, Devon. I'm not dead yet. I brought that up. I brought out the Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which is like to me one of the funniest movies ever. And yeah, I'm not dead yet. That's right. So well, I'm an experienced traveler. I've not spent tons of time in Europe before, but I have been there before and I have traveled a lot in my life. So, yeah, and plus like I said, I'm that's kind of my happy place is traveling. I'm just in the zen spirit, kind of zen zone when I'm traveling. So, other people think of all the problems that will happen when they travel. I'm like, yeah, this is great. Like, I just don't, things just don't bother me the same way. It was funny because the boyfriend I had for about 13 years, we broke up a little more than 20 years ago. He was a traveler too. We enjoyed going places together. We did a lot of road trips together. But he often said to me, he goes, "You are never happier than when we're like traveling." I mean, he noticed it almost immediately that I just become like a very happy person on whether I'm on the road or on a train or not really on the airplane, but once I get there, I'll be happy. Again, don't love flying, but it's just one flight to get there, so I'll be all right. Anyway, oh, thank you, Diana Victoria. Thank you. Yeah, well, please watch as many as you would like. There's tons on there. Uh, oh, that's great. John Mark. Oh, okay. You're sharing about that experience. Yeah, well, we'll see. Hopefully, I won't have an experience like the lady in We in France. If you watch that video, she went into a supermarket and just was like filming the food, to put on her channel, and she got accosted by the manager, and I mean accosted, like physically put hands on her and stuff. And it was kind of scary. And I don't think that would be the norm, even in France. So she even said that's the worst experience she's had over there. But, you know, anyway, je parle français un peu. Yeah, it's true, Jan. Everything is precarious, but everything's precarious almost everywhere right now. It's precarious here, it's precarious over there, it's precarious, definitely precarious in the war zones in the world. But I don't, there's always going to be uncertainty. It doesn't mean the worst is going to happen. It just means that, it could be, but like I said, I view it as an asset that maybe I'm not moving there to live right now. Maybe it's good. Excuse me, dry throat. Gotta take some water. Uh, it's good to be. I'm going to be able to check places out and see where I'd really like to go and see kind of what's happening in France during the year. So that'll be a good scouting expedition for me. Um, Yes, MSR. Yeah, that's what the lady in the video today was even talking about. She said, "Yeah, it is a lot more private there. People don't mind if you're out in a park and you're just, filming the trees or something like that, but they don't want to be filmed. They don't want to be caught on film unless you ask their permission." And this lady was saying that even when you film in a store, you generally want to go up to the manager and ask if it's okay first, which is, to me, that's just being polite anyway. Why wouldn't you do that? So I have filmed very infrequently in places, like I filmed a few snippets in a Safeway for a short I did, and a couple of shorts, and I filmed indoors a couple of places, but generally I try not to do that very much, and I try to be respectful about it. Um, yeah. So it's just you have to just learn the different aspects of a culture, As somebody who's an anthropologist, I'm kind of hardwired for that and to adapt to that. So, that's fine. Oh, it's not a problem filming in the UK? Good to know. Okay, I'll film away over there. No, I'll still be really respectful and not to catch people too much in my, videos, and just, not get their, close ups or anything like that. So, yeah. Yeah. And I am hoping, I think I shared with you guys on Christmas Eve that I do have some things happening. So I think I'll be able to stay in the UK for quite a while during the summer. But if that changes, then the option is to go to Albania. So that's my backup plan to that. See, I have to have backup plans to backup plans at this point, which is, understandable. Um, Oh, what's the onward ticket, Amy? Onward ticket for a return flight. It's a valid reservation. Expires in, yeah, but I don't want to do that because I'm definitely not coming back in 48 hours. Just, I don't know if they'll really accept that. but I'll check it out. Thanks for the suggestion. Um, well, and you know what, MSR, I have many more acquaintances than friends too, so I understand that. It's, I mean, I pretty much view most people as acquaintances unless I get to a certain level of knowing them. From what I understand about, especially the French, and again, it's a generalization because you can't say that a people are always the same way. Not all Americans are the same, not all French are the same, not all English are the same. You can't make that kind of generalization. But what I've heard about people in France is that they're a little standoffish. I mean, they're polite about it. They'll be polite and stuff to you, but they are standoffish about being familiar with you until they get to know you. But once you get to know someone after a period of time, and you kind of build levels of that acquaintanceship into kind of a friendship, then it becomes a whole different thing once you're actually friends. So it's just, to me, it kind of makes more sense. I've always thought Americans, and I'm speaking as someone who is an American, but I am not a normal American, just saying. I've always thought it was strange in this country that we can befriend somebody so quickly and think, oh, they're my friend. Like, well, no, they might be a good acquaintance, but you kind of have to have time spent with people and experiences spent with people to really become friends. I mean, I just kind of believe that. So maybe I think more like the French anyway than I do a typical American. So, yeah. Right, exactly. And Jean-Marc, I'm completely okay with that. A $31 chicken. What was that? Bear paws? Huh. Okay. Yeah. Well, I've known people that anyone they meet that's nice to them, they call their friend. And I'm like, no, that's that's not the way it works. Well, that's the thing, Shirley. You gotta try to speak the language in most places. I mean, I think the French people are a little bit more, I mean, you have to understand the history of it. Until World War One, French was like English in the world. Until World War One, French was the language of diplomacy. It was the language of culture. It was considered to be all the royalty around the whole world. They always spoke French in addition to whatever other languages they did. And you have to understand that the French, they love their language, just like any country probably loves their language. But the thing is, they just want to have some respect for it in the sense that you make an attempt. And if you make an attempt, then usually they're fine with that, even if you speak it badly. Right. It is. Well, that's true. It is. Now things are a lot more multicultural, but I already said that there's no typical anything. There's no typical French person. There's no typical American. There's no typical anything. So you can talk in generalities just to try to explain a norm in the country. But yeah, what I did in Ochinsky when I was in Paris, I basically this was 22 years ago. I basically would speak French when I entered a shop, and I would say a couple of things in French. And immediately, of course, they would realize I was not French. And then they would speak to me in English. And I would say, merci. so so it's kind of like, it's just kind of, to me, a act of courtesy to try to speak French anywhere you go when you're in France, and then they'll probably answer you in English if they speak English. Not everybody speaks English. In Paris, most people speak English, but in other parts of France, they don't necessarily. So Yeah, Elaine. Well, I took French from the time I was in sixth grade, and I was fair, almost I'd call semi-fluent at one time, but I've lost so much of it that it would take me a while to build up again. Yeah, well, and at one time, Jim, that was the diplomacy language until a little over 100 years ago. Now the diplomatic language is English. So even though diplomats might speak French, English is still considered right now the language of diplomacy. So yeah. But Algerians also speak French, Jean-Marc. I mean, when I was in the Peace Corps, I had a good friend. He was a character, and he was from Algeria, and he spoke French. He was a native Algerian. He spoke French fluently, and his name was Sharief. I still remember him, and he was he used to crack everybody up. He was so clever, funny, just really interesting guy. He used to tell me a lot about Algeria and stuff, which I knew nothing about Algeria before that time in my life. So anyway, but they are fluent in French. At least they were. This was in the 70s. Maybe fewer of them are fluent in French now, so because it's not a colony anymore. But um, yeah. Yeah, that's because Jean-Marc, they were a former colony, Algeria was, so of France. That's probably why. Yes, I do use Duolingo. I use it every day, and it's free unless you make a lot of mistakes. And then a couple of times I've actually used up my hearts on Duolingo, and then they want me to pay, and I'm like, no. And so I wait a couple of days, and then they ask me to come back and do free lessons. We play this little game with each other. Okay, let me just, we're going to wrap it up here in a minute. If you guys have any other questions, though, you want to ask me. Oh, thanks, Interview, for asking. I'm not doing a New Year's Eve live. I am going to have a video out on New Year's Eve day, though. So please watch the video, and then we'll do a normal live stream next Saturday again. I thought about it, but I I have to do a lot of like just kind of self-care with meditation and stuff, and I'm just going to be really calm for a couple of days there. So um, anyway, there will be a video out on Tuesday though. So yeah, that's what I was thinking, MSR. I don't think as many people are as fluent as they used to be in French in some of those like Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria as they used to be probably. I don't have any chocolate right now, MSR, and it's a sore subject. I'm probably going to get some when I go out to Starbucks because it's right down from Safeway. So I'll probably go in and get some chocolate because I'm out. The C's ran out on I ate the rest of those on Christmas night. So yeah. Did I sound a little perturbed about the fact that I was out of chocolate? I know. That's how you know you're an addict over chocolate. Yeah. Not doing anything special for New Year's. Like I said, just, well, for me, it's special meditation, journaling, um, thinking about my vision for this coming year in the sense of what I really want it to be like and what I'm hoping to make out of this year. And it's a big year. So I got a lot of pondering to do. Thank you, Stella, for sending happy vibes. Well, I actually do have, not drinking the cocoa. I actually do have some Starbucks hot chocolate mix, but I just, yeah. Oh, I didn't see your last question. One moment at a time. No, I did not, apparently. Diana. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know MSR. Oh, oh, Leanne, I do kind of a mindfulness meditation, I guess I would call it. It doesn't really fit a category. It's a little bit of mantra meditation and a little bit of mindfulness. It's definitely not like breath meditation. I'm for some reason focusing on the breath does not relax me. So yeah, I don't do breath meditation, but I kind of do a combo. Little bit of mantra, a little bit of mindfulness. I do deep breathing, of course, to start it. But yeah, but I meditate for like this morning, I meditated for an hour. Generally, I meditate for about an hour every day. So, and it's very easy for me to do because I've just done it so long. So, oh, wait, somebody's out of chocolate cake, Christmas cake. That caught my eye. Oh, chocolate ice cream too. See, anybody that's out of something, I see that. I look over there and I go, uh-oh. Yeah, I may do that in the UK. I'll probably be due for an eye test. Maybe I'll go in for the inexpensive eye test while I'm there. Um, Happy New Year from Sydney, Australia. I will be getting there I'm leaving on February 25th, Julie. Thank you. Oh, that's great. I never did yoga. Uh, I do chair yoga. I guess I do a little bit of chair yoga, but I don't do like the traditional yoga. Not now. I could have done it when I was younger, but I know it's already been an hour. It's been over an hour. No, no, I live in Northern California, Diana. I live in a small town in Northern California. Well, I'm going to be doing more of that, Christine. I'll be talking about how much everything's costing me as I go and all of that. And so, oh, are you a breast cancer survivor? Well, I'm glad you're a survivor. Oh, I hope you can do that. I hope you can move to Spain. Oh, thanks, Elaine. I know. I'm going to the store in about half an hour well, we're going to go for a walk first and then I'll go to the store and I'll got to have the frickin' chocolate. I think they're probably already sold out of the Christmas chocolate at 50% off. So, oh, thanks, Bronwyn. Happy New Year to you. I'm so glad when you can join us. No, Katie, May, I'm not keeping my apartment. Again, let me just address this because a lot of people have asked this. I don't have a voucher, like a housing voucher. I got into this apartment because I applied directly to it. It is HUD subsidized housing, but I didn't get a voucher to get it. I just went on a waiting list. And when I got in here, it only took like 7 months. So that was great. And the nice thing is they're really wonderful here. They've really liked me as a tenant. So they've already told me that to put in an application when I move. And the waiting list right now is about a year, but they will, get me an apartment here if that's what I need. Now if I'm still making more money and stuff, of course I pay more rent, but it's still possibly cheaper than I would pay out in the larger world, especially rents are so expensive in the US pretty much everywhere. So, that's kind of my rule of thumb when I'm thinking about how much I'm paying overseas for an Airbnb. In Reno, which is the closest large city to where I am, in Reno, Nevada, you can't get even a decent apartment for less than $1,000 a month. More like 1,100 a month for something decent. And I mean livable, not like in a drug infested, roach infested place. Okay. Well, anyway, I figure anytime I'm overseas and I can live on less than that for housing, I'm doing good because it would cost me that much to just live in Reno, like 1,100. So most of the housing that I've already booked is under that. It's actually under 1,000. It's probably, well, one place is about 700 for the month. The other place is about 900 for the month. So yeah, that's much better than I can rent a lousy apartment in certain places in the US, which I find really disturbing that it's so expensive here. So, yeah. Well, see, $52 is that's a little high. A little bit high. Yeah. I'm aiming for like $30 a night roughly if you and I'm trying to get places for like about a month if I can because you get a cheaper rate for doing that. So anyway, I know rent went up during the pandemic is what happened. It blew up. When I left Arizona in 2017, my last rent for a one bedroom was about $650 a month. Within 3 years, when the pandemic started, probably the first year of the pandemic, I know for a fact in that area where I used to live for that, the rents were well over $1,000 a month. So, and that was the biggest rent increase that we've had probably in 25 years in general, because I remember when I used to live in Flagstaff, Arizona, 25 years ago, and I was paying about $650 a month for a one bedroom apartment. Or well, no, it was a two bedroom apartment when I was we had a two bedroom when I was living with my boyfriend. So the thing is that rents, they've just gone out of sight in this country. And even in small towns, like it's not just in the bigger cities. So anyway, I know, and it's understandable, Devon. People, even if they're working, can't always afford rent, especially if you're in one of the states where the minimum wage is still low. Like your minimum, there's states where people are literally making the federal minimum wage, which is like 7 something an hour or 8 something. I'm not exactly sure what it is, honestly. But anyway, it's low. It's low. Okay. Well, anyway, we talked a little bit about everything. So I want to wish you all a happy new year. And I hope that we'll talk more about what your plans for the year might be when we do our live stream on Saturday. Anyway, look for my video on Tuesday. And until then, you know the drill. Be kind. First of all, be kind. And big thanks to Inner You for being a moderator today. Appreciate you. Doing great job. Even though you've disappeared, I can't find you now. I know you're on here. Anyway, welcome. Yes, James, you're there. You're still there. Have a wonderful new year, guy. And but anyway, to all of you, just have a wonderful New Year's. I hope that you're do whatever you want to do, whether you're alone or with family, or but think a little bit about, be intentional about what you would like to be better for you in the new year, and put that thought out there into the universe. And if you don't give it energy, it may not happen. You gotta really focus on it. So anyway, I'll see you guys next Saturday. And until then, be kind and keep moving forward. Take care. Bye.